But the fact of the matter is our solar system and our sun is about to cross the ecliptic of the galaxy, and it hasn't done that for a long time. And the theory is that we're entering into some new energies, which in my opinion is why there is a truth movement and why people are seeking the truth and why the truth really is coming out everywhere around you. The truth about violence, the truth about war, the truth about extraterrestrials, the truth about lost human civilizations. It's all coming out there, and in my opinion, it's because of the energies that are flying through our bodies and through our planet at this time. So, are we going to wake up on December 21st, 2012 and have there be rainbows and unicorns everywhere? I don't think so. But my opinion is that at that point, the scales should begin to tip in the other direction. For those of us who want to embrace a world of peace and free energy and a more cooperative situation, I think that there will be a splitting of realities where you'll have people who still embrace fear, whether they fear, people that are different from them or all the different fears that people have. They're gonna have their own Earth. Those of us who want our own Earth, we're gonna have our own Earth. And as you can see, even right now, there is a split where you've got, like, to me, I see it like there's people I see who believe something that's totally separate from what I believe, and they live in that reality and it's real to them, and I live in my reality and it's real to me. So you can see it's possible to exist in the separate realities. Like me, I enjoy my life and think the world is alive and every day is beautiful. And there's other people who think the complete opposite, that life sucks and everything's a lie and this and that, So I think it's where you focus your attention. So if you are feeling fearful and negative, I would ask that you try to focus your attention to a higher vibration. And there are still Mayan elders who have their knowledge and information about 2012. Obviously the movie 2012 was just a bunch of bullshit. And then again, there may be those, and there are already those who are living through catastrophes. Katrina, and there's floods and earthquakes all around the planet. And there again, I haven't been subjected to them. So there you have that split reality again, where people are experiencing hell on earth and I'm experiencing heaven on earth. Some people look at the planet like it's there for them to just pillage and plunder, and I look at the planet like it's there for us to take care of, because it takes care of us. So you make a choice. You make a choice whether you want to create a reality of peace, a reality of war, a reality of love, or a reality of fear. Like, I noticed when it was New World Orphans and I was like bringing out information and saying fuck all this and fuck all that, a lot of people were like, yeah. As soon as I started to learn other things, people were not, some people were like, what do you mean you don't want to say fuck the world anymore? Because it defined their whole story. They just were, it was so easy to go fuck this and fuck that. It's interesting to me that, if I would think one thing on one day and learn new information the next day and share that new information, some people, and this is a minority of people, because most people I find are very cool and very understanding, but of course you want to evolve with new information. That's what a scientist does, is you think one thing and, the next day you may learn some more new information and you have to revise your theories. So anybody who's like, well, Jahred used to say this and now he says that, well, that's how we should all be, is ready to adapt our theories. I used to believe in Santa Claus and then now I don't. I'm not trying to offend people when I give out information about religion, like Christianity and Because like when I was younger and I was on mushrooms and all of a sudden I was watching TV and the show came on that was like saying, hey, you know, the story of Jesus is not an original story. There have been many stories about virgin birth and died and raised 3 days later, thousands of years before the Bible was written. I was like, yes! I was so happy to hear that because I always knew that there was something wrong with the story. So I'm not trying to upset or offend people who believe in religion. I'm not attacking the people who believe. I'm attacking the religions themselves. People who believe are more victims who bought into something that was really, you know, constructed to ensnare people and trap their souls in a false belief system. So, a lot of people are like, thank you, Jahred, for passing on that information. And other people, which is hilarious, are like, you're going to hell, which is funny because Christ supposedly said, don't judge. And then the first thing they do is think they're going to be the judge and jury and send me to hell. So that's fucking hilarious. By the way, there's no such thing as hell. It's never found anywhere in the original text. The Catholic Church came up with this fairy tale, and even one of the most recent popes apologized to the world for the fairy tale called hell. But then you still got all these people who still believe there's such a place and run their life according to this fairy tale of heaven or hell. You know, it's sad. You know, it's sad for me because I've got, you know, people in my own family who have spent their whole lives believing in something that I know isn't true. You know, this whole idea that we're all born into sin and we're all bad is ridiculous. And some people are like, I remember on Facebook I'd see all these things. Oh, well, the Bible gives us all these moral values. Bullshit. People know what's wrong and what's right. If the Bible gave people moral values, why is it all these priests who dedicate their lives to the Bible and the Ten Commandments are the ones who are out there, you know, violating children sexually and all that? So I don't want to hear that the Bible gives us morals. We have morals. They're in our spirits. We don't need them from some phony book. There are plenty of indigenous tribes, aboriginals, you know, Native Americans who never had the Bible, who lived a life of peace and justice, you know. So just stop with that. It's ridiculous. Well, if anybody's still listening, because I'm not the best, I'm not like a public speaker, but I'm just happy to share my thoughts with you guys, and just thank you for your support, because you know I couldn't do what I do without all the open-minded, higher consciousness people, not just in this country, but man, we just went to Russia and I couldn't believe how beautiful it was there. And you know, you ever hear someone who's like, we're the greatest country in the world, and 9 out of 10 times that person has never been out of the country. You know, this term that you hear, American exceptionalism, that's code word for saying, well, we're the best country in the world, we're better than everyone, so we should do whatever we want to other countries. Isn't that just fucking ridiculous? How are we the best? I mean, we're great. Other countries are great too. We're not the freest country in the world either. That's just bullshit. Tons of other countries are just as free as we are, if not freer. I toured all through Europe and rarely saw a policeman. You know, when I tour here, I see cops almost at every single show. You know, so even in Russia, I didn't see police at the show. You know, so I would say before you judge other countries, take a trip there and see how you like it. There's beautiful countries out there. England, France, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Japan, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia. All these countries are beautiful, and all these countries are just as free as we are. You know, and I mean, even within this country, some states are freer than others. You've got some states where it's practically legal to smoke weed, some states where you go to fucking jail for having a roach. You know, so let's not buy into any blind patriotism. And I'm not bashing the country, but you know what they want to do is make you feel like you can't criticize your own country, when that's what makes the country great, is to analyze it and then try and change it for the better, not just be happy with the cards that you're dealt. So sometimes you've got the person like, well, if you don't like it, then get the fuck out. Can you imagine if, like, when you tried to discipline your kids, they'd be like, well, if you don't like it, then drop me off at the orphanage. You know, it's just like, shut the fuck up, man. I'll criticize the country, and no, I won't fucking move, ass. Sorry, I got a little bit worked up there. One thing I'd like to say before we wrap it up is, you've got to realize that true fascism is a situation where the corporations, which are run by the top 2% of the population, the wealthiest top 2%, are the ones to really keep an eye on. And their power that they wield through lobbyists on our public officials, let's call them bureaucrats, people who aren't public officials who have power over government. One thing that really bothered me was all these lies about healthcare, where you've got all these other countries, civilized countries, that have public health care around the world. Canada, France, England, Germany, on and on and on. They've got great health care, and you've got all these liars talking about death panels and people buying into that bullshit. And if you ever analyze about these politicians who are talking about death panels, they're receiving millions of dollars from the medical insurance industry. Man, you guys have got to be smarter than that. You know, you hear these people who are like, I don't want the government involved in my healthcare. Well, they weren't trying to get involved in your healthcare. They were trying to regulate how much insurance companies could charge for it. To me, it was so obvious, and it really made me sad. Like, I don't want medicine like, I don't want healthcare like Canada. Really? Why not? They fucking rule. Canadians get the best healthcare, so do the English. Ask Mark, my bass player. He's from England. He could tell you how much better their healthcare is than it is here. So people are gonna hear this and still just not get it. But man, we've got to see through that bullshit. You know, if we don't regulate capitalism, it turns into fascism. That's what true fascism is. It should be called corporatism. That's what Mussolini called it, the famous Italian fascist, because what it is when the corporations rule the people for a profit. I mean, it's sad to me when people vote against their own interests. By and large, the Republicans represent the super wealthy, the fascists, you know. By and large, the Democrats represent the working man and woman. But then you've got all these like middle-class people who vote Republican because they're fooled by the bullshit that's coming out of the mouths of most Republican politicians. And I mean, when you hear these Republicans who are like, terrorism, 9/11, the terrorists, 9/11. I mean, is that really where you want to put your vote, on the party of fear? I see through those fear tactics instantly ever since 9/11. And I would hope that 9/11 woke up a lot of people against all these fear tactics. But 9/11 didn't work. They didn't get what they wanted. They wanted to continue a war all the way as far as they could, you know, against you know, a religious war, us against them. But it didn't work because too many people woke up, and we're going into a world of peace, and that's it. You know, for our children, for our children's children, we're going to turn away